make a note that this is not a training course over here. We are not conducting a training course, but we are conducting a demonstration of live patients for our registered candidates who are registered for our different server-based courses. So make a note, this is not a course, but a demonstration of live patients for those who are already registered with us for different server-based courses. Okay, Dr. Ujjwala, you have just started the ultrasound. Are you a gynecologist?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now tell me, we are putting a probe on the patient just above the pubis symphysis over here. Now see, this is not a still, this is the patient, this is a live patient. And this probe is in transverse or in longitudinal section. Hurry up.
Longitudinal.
Longitudinal section. Just above the pubis symphysis in a longitudinal section. And what is this over here? What is this structure? Yes, no? Now see.
So
what is this structure coming over here?
Bladder.
Bladder is there. This is the bladder. What is this over here?
Uterus.
No, uterus will be higher. We are just above the pubis symphysis. So what we will be hitting if we are just above the pubis symphysis? So first of all, this is the patient, a fetal ultrasound we are conducting right now. This is about a 30 weeks fetus, 32 weeks fetus, just above the pubis symphysis in longitudinal section. What I will hit? What is this?
Cervix.
Yes, cervix. Dr. Priyanka, you there? So this is the cervix over there. Now, this is the cervical canal. Am I right or wrong?
Yes, sir.
Yes, this is the cervical, wall over there. This is the anterior and this is the posterior. So anyhow, this is the cervix. If I have to measure the length of the cervix, I will measure from here to here. So this will be the external nose and this will be the internal nose. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Now see how it is scanning on live patient. Now what I am doing right now with the image, what I am doing right now, I am decreasing something and I am increasing, I am adjusting something. What I am adjusting, with which the brightness of the image is getting adjusted. I mean, it is getting decreased or increased. What I am doing?
Gain, increasing the...
Yes, gain. Now, is this overall gain or TGC? Is this overall gain or TGC? Hurry up. Now see. Is this overall gain or TGC?
Overall.
No, this is a TGC. Why I will say that this is a TGC? And what is the difference between the TGC and the overall gain? What is difference between TGC and overall gain? Now see again. This is TGC. This is not an overall gain. Overall gain will decrease or increase the brightness of whole of the image. But if I want to decrease a specific areas, gain, I will use TGC. So here I want to decrease the gain of this area only. Now see, I am decreasing this area only so that it will get clear. So this is the difference between the TGC and this overall gain. So what I will suggest to you, Dr. Ujjwala, to go to the physics and machine settings course. These things are in detail over there. Now I am rotating the probe over there. And I am now scanning over here. Where is the fetal head? Now see, here I am not seeing the fetal head. At the level of the pubis symphysis, I am not seeing the fetal head. I am seeing somewhere here the fetal head. So what it means? It is a cephalic fetus.
It's breech.
So this is the breech fetus. Now, what is this over here? What is this line about? Hurry up. What is this line about?
Septum pellucidum.
Yes. Why I need to have this line in center to take the measurement of what?
BPD.
BPD. So the BPD can be taken from inner to inner. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
No.
Outer to inner.
Inner to
Outer
outer or outer to inner. So that way I have to include one-sided bone only, right?
Yes, sir.
So, yes. So in a BPD plane, the head will be more of round or oval shape. Round or oval?
Sir, oval.
Oval. Right. Now see, this is the BPD plane over here. So this is not round. This is the oval structure over here. So I will include this side bone or this side bone. So that is what we have to do. We have to take outer to inner or from inner to outer. So that way I have to include one-sided bone only. Now I am seeing this line and this is making an arrow and this arrow is pointing posteriorly. What is this arrow over here? Yeah, now see, this is the arrow over here, which is pointing posteriorly. So this is the occiput over here. What is this structure over here? Hurry up. Dr. Ujwala, Dr. Priyanka, Dr. Sweta, Dr. Arun, or any other who wants to comment in the comment section or raise the hand. We will send the unmute invitation and we will unmute that person. Thalami. So that will be the transthalamic section. Am I right or wrong?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So I am requesting not to draw on the screen. Somebody is drawing on the screen, so please don't draw on the screen. So please don't draw on the screen. Somebody is drawing on the screen. So this way, what we are doing, we are taking the BPD and this will be the transthalamic section. So the transthalamic section is seen when I am seeing the arrow which is pointing posteriorly. So these things we are discussing in great detail in our course of fetal ultrasound. We are right now showing you only patients, live patients. Now see. So this way, the fetal BPD, so this way the BPD is measured from inner to outer. Now, if, Dr. Ujwala.
Yes, sir.
Audible? If, now see, if fetal head is here, where will be the femur length? Where will be the femur itself? If head is here, where will you expect the femur? Here, yes or no? Yes or no? Can you see the arrow?
Yes, sir.
I am seeing head over here. Where I will search for the femur? Here, yes or no?
No, sir. Lower side.
Lower side. Now, if head is over here, so somewhere at the level of this lower down, I will say lower down, will be the this femur, and in between will be the abdomen. So I have to make a strategy when I am taking an ultrasound. So I have to play with my neurons. Not haphazardly, I have to search femur here, there. No. If head is over here, then femur will be lower down. But in case of a this cephalic presentation, now see, in case of a cephalic presentation, I will expect head over here. Where I will expect now the femur length? Here.
Yes.
Right? So you have to search accordingly. Raising the hand, I am again requesting whenever we will request for the hands, raise hands, then only raise the hand. Anyhow, Dr. Archana Mishra. So she's Professor Archana Mishra. That is what is written on the Zoom. Dr. Archana, say hello.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Sir.
Are you doing ultrasound?
Yes, sir. Actually,
you are registered with us for any course? Yes or no?
No, sir. Actually, I did long ago, immediately after my PG from San Hospital. 15 days Foxy recognized. Sir, what I wanted to comment is that, like, when you find AC abdominal and then you rotate the probe, you easily
just hold on. We are discussing. We will come to each and every point. So right now, we are seeing the patient in which the head is over here and the head is just above the pubis surface. It is a breech presentation. Now, to see to get the femur, I have to go somewhere here. So the FL, I have to go over here, and in between will be the abdominal circumference. So this was the first patient in which we are seeing the breech presentation, and in this breech presentation fetus, we discussed how to take the transthalamic section and how to take where to look for the femur and where will be the this abdominal circumference. Now see, in this fetus, now see, I am getting now the this femur length over here. So femur length I am getting over here. So this is not a complete breech. That is why the femur is this side. So let us go back to see where the fetal head is actually. Now see, the fetal head is actually over here, not complete breech. So this is coming over here. So I will expect the femur over here. Had this been the head over here, then I will expect the femur over here. So in this case, the head is slightly towards the left side of the patient, So that is why the femur will be somewhere here. So anyhow, this is the transthalamic section, which we discussed right now. And we got the femur also over here. Now see, femur we got over here. So abdominal circumference will be for sure in between this and this point. So this is the abdominal circumference, which will come in a moment. Now, which femur to take? Which femur to take? Wherever you are seeing the clarity. It is not the right or the left one. Wherever you are seeing the clarity, you can take that femur. Now, what is over here? What is coming over here? This is the fetal heart over here. Now, if this is the fetal heart, which was coming over here, what is this over here, Dr. Archana? What is this over here? What are these three dots? Dr. Ujwala.
Aorta, IVC.
No. These three dots, 1, 2, and 3rd. This is spine. The spine in transverse section. This is spine in transverse section. So if I got a portal vein or the stomach, I will take abdominal circumference there. So for landmarks of the abdominal circumference, I have to see for the stomach, and if precise, I have to look actually for the portal vein. Now this is the fetal heart over here, and this is the fetal heart tracing. Now, in some machines, we are not discussing theory over here because theory we are taking in the server-based courses in detail. And for this fetal heart, I have to take from one pulse, skipping the first one, going to the other one. In some machines, you don't have to skip one, but in most, if not all, in GE machines, we have to take it on alternate basis, and then we have to set, and a heart rate of 140 beats will pop up over here. So this is the first patient. Just have a impression and see how the probe is rotated and how the images are coming on the screen. So as this is not a course over here, because courses are on server, we are taking this thing for the live demonstration of our registered candidates. So this way, the head was here. So this is the not a cephalic fetus. So now what we are doing, we are seeing for the amniotic fluid over here. Amniotic fluid is adequate. Now see, this is the spine in length coming over here. This is the spine down, and this is the heart over here, and here the portal vein. Now see, this is the portal vein over here. This is the portal vein. At this point, I have to take, now see, this is the stomach. This is the stomach. Now see through the stomach. Stomach is not in the thoracic cavity. So this means that this is not a herniation. This is not a herniation. So this is also a one point. What we have to see that the stomach is normally located in the abdominal cavity. And if it is not located in the abdominal cavity, that will be the diaphragmatic hernia, which we are discussing in these congenital abnormalities. Now I am seeing the fetal face over here also. So this we will discuss on some other patient, how to get the fetal face. If anybody is having any idea how to get the fetal face from the transthalamic or the uniaxial section, she or he can come forward. We will be more than happy to listen if anybody is having any idea how to take the fetal phase. Anyone? Anyone is having any idea how to take the fetal phase from an axial section? From an axial section, how to take the fetal phase? Now see, we are in axial section right now. So we are in axial section. Dr. Padma is raising the hand. Dr. Archana again. We are sending you an invitation. You have to say hello upon mute, accepting the this invitation. Dr. Padma, say hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Do you have any idea how to take the facial profile? Yes, from axial section?
When your probe is in axial section, then you have to slide slightly and then rotate the probe in 90 degrees.
Very good. So where from you have taken the basic training?
From your institute, sir.
Okay, you are registered with us. So the point here is that whenever we are in axial section, we have to rotate the probe by 90 degree and you will get to the facial profile, which we are discussing in the server-based courses. So let us go to the second patient quickly. We will go to the second patient now and we will see what is in our second patient. Now, first of all, the fetal head. Now see where the fetal head is. I am just putting above the pubis symphysis. So this is a cephalic fetus. Straight away, this is the cephalic fetus. But there is something wrong with this fetal head. What is wrong with this fetal head? We will discuss in great detail this thing. So first have a visual impression and see how the probe is rotated and see to the image coming onto the screen. I will get back because we need a detailed discussion of this patient over here. So these are today's scan patients. These are randomly random patients. These are not selective patients. So fortunately, you have got an abnormal case over here. See very carefully what we are seeing over here. This is the fetal head over here. See the probe movements, very delicate probe movements from right to left, and we have to see, we have to get to the anatomy of the head now, try to understand this abnormality, what there. So, anyone?
Sir,
anyone having any idea what we are seeing right now?
Sir, is it ventriculoceles?
Ventriculocele. Okay, what is your name?
Dr. Archana, Professor Archana Mishra.
Professor Archana Mishra. Now, madam, tell me, you are telling me that this is, what are you telling me?
No, in the other section where the ventricles
no,
were
in this section, first okay. Tell me in this section, what we are seeing over here?
Hyperechoic.
No, hyperechoic is over here. This is the skull bone over here.
Yeah.
So what is this over here?
Fluid.
Fluid. Okay, yeah. Fluid is looking black on screen. But what where from this fluid is? See very carefully. Now, Dr. Archana,
yes,
rather Professor Dr. Archana, tell me, can this be a hydranencephaly?
Hydrocephalus.
Hydranencephaly.
Oh, hydranencephaly, I don't know.
So their differential diagnosis will be hydranencephaly, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Can this be a hydrocephalus?
Yeah, because the suture margins are seen.
Mm-hmm. So the differential diagnosis will be hydranencephaly versus hydrocephalus.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
right?
Sir.
Now on ultrasound, how can we differentiate whether this is hydranencephaly or hydrocephalus?
It's an hydrocephalus, not hydran.
wait, tell me your name, please.
Aruj.
Dr. Aruj. Dr. Aruj, you are telling me that this is a hydrocephalus, not an hydrancephaly, right?
Yes.
Look, the picture is same. That is why we have to differentiate whether this is hydrancephaly or hydrocephalus. What makes you to say that this is not a hydrancephaly, and what is favoring it to be a hydrocephalus?
Because it's fully fluid.
Fluid is there also. What is the hydrancephaly? Hydrancephaly is the destructive process of the brain, and you will be seeing the picture like this only. Dr. Archana Mishra. Dr. Archana? Probably her audio is muted. Now, the point is that we have first to see whether there is any cerebral cortex or not. If there will be any cerebral cortex, then it can be hydrocephalus, not hydrancephaly. Got it?
Yes.
Dr. Aruj?
Yes, yes,
now,
sir.
Now we have to see. Now we know that this is now let us see. Now let us see whether I am getting any cerebral cortex over there or not. Now see, I am getting a cerebral cortex over here. So of course, this is ventriculomegaly, and that to a severe ventriculomegaly.
Yes, sir.
But where are the chorial plexus? Chorial plexus will be dangling in this these lateral ventricles, these dilated lateral ventricles. Let us see if we are getting to the lateral these chorial plexus now. Now tell me, Dr. Aruj, you are a gynecologist?
Yes or
no? You are a gynecologist?
No, sonologist.
You are a sonologist. Now this is your bread and butter. Now tell me, if I am seeing here bilateral ventricles dilated. Bilateral ventricles are dilated. What next I have to see? Which ventricle I have to see? I got both lateral ventricles dilated. What next?
The posterior.
Before posterior fossa. Why you are jumping onto the posterior fossa?
Because both ventricles are fully dilated.
Both ventricles are dilated. Now, what is the connection between the third ventricle and the lateral ventricle? What is the connection? What is that called? Foramen of? Foramen of?
Sir, it's foramen oval.
Foramen of Monro. How many foramen of Monro's we do have? One or two?
Yes, yes, sir.
No, don't say yes, sir. How many? One or two? How many foramen of Monro's we are having? One or two?
One.
Please go back to the anatomy. Without anatomy, please don't attempt to do a congenital target anomaly scan. Got it? Now,
okay, sir.
Everybody, please chat in the chat box. How many foramen of Monro's we do have? One or two? Open the chat box. Please don't draw on the screen. Please don't draw on the screen. So now the point over here is that we should be very clear with the anatomy, especially when we are doing these target anomalies. The point here is that if I am having both lateral ventricles dilated, everybody in the chat, what next I have to see? What next I have to see? Which ventricle I have to see? Yes. Now you are coming on track. Dr. Deepika, Dr. Priyanka, Dr. Padma, Dr. Monica, Dr. Subha. Now your neurons are getting shaken. Yes, this is the third ventricle which I have to see. I am showing you the chat box. This is the third ventricle which I have to see. Now, where will be the third ventricle? I know that I have to now see for the third ventricle, but where I will search for the third ventricle? Do I see normally third ventricle? Yes or no? Again in the chat box. Or if you want, I will unmute your computer so that we can discuss it one-to-one. So where to see for the third ventricle? And before that, tell me whether we are seeing normally third ventricle? Yes or no? Quickly. In the chat box, in the chat box. In the chat box.
No, sir.
No.
Normally, we can't see third ventricle and
Now,
third ventricle.
where is the third ventricle?
In the thalamus. Thalamic
in
region.
the center, in between the thalamus, right. Now, if I got both lateral ventricles dilated, what is this structure over here? This is the third ventricle.
Third ventricle.
Now see it live. So this is the third ventricle over here. Now, this ultrasound is very interesting. Condition 2, you know the theory. If you don't know the theory, you are straightway doing the ultrasound, then please pardon me, you are photographers, not doctors. Now, I got the third ventricular dilatation. I got the first and second ventricle, and these are the lateral ventricles. Both are dilated and severely dilated. This is the third ventricle. What is this? This is dilated. Now, both lateral ventricles along with the third ventricle is dilated. What next I have to see?
Fourth ventricle.
Pardon?
Fourth ventricle.
Fourth ventricle. Okay. Where is the fourth ventricle now? Now, where is the fourth ventricle? Now, see, this is the cerebellum over here. These are two cerebellar hemispheres connected with the vermis. This is the area of the cisterna magna. Where this is the third ventricle. Where is the fourth ventricle?
Anterior to cerebellum.
Very, very, very good. What is your name?
Padma, Dr. Padma.
Dr. Padma. Wait. Dr. Padma, are you doing right now any ultrasound course?
Yes, sir. With you only I am taking.
With you, with me. Yes, that is why the things are clear. So, Dr. Ujjwala, you there?
Yes, sir.
Where is the fourth ventricle?
Sir, anterior to cerebellum.
Anterior to cerebellum. It means that somewhere here, right or wrong?
Yes, sir.
Now, Dr. Ujjwala will tell me. If third ventricle we got dilated, not if it is dilated, we got both lateral ventricles dilated. Now, if the fourth ventricle is dilated, listen to the question very carefully. Ultrasound is not photography. Ultrasound is the implementation of your theory onto the patient. I am again repeating the statement. Both lateral ventricles dilated, third ventricle dilated, and if fourth ventricle is also dilated, what will be the status of the no, let us put it this way. Both lateral ventricles dilated, third ventricle dilated, and I will get the fourth ventricle also dilated. This is making a diagnosis of aqueductal stenosis. Yes or no? Dr. Ujjwala, yes or no?
No, sir.
No. I'm making you to confuse because these things will remain in your deep neurons for lifelong. Now the third ventricle is deciding over here. If fourth ventricle is not dilated, it means that it is the aqueduct of Sylvis which is obstructed. So that way, if the fourth ventricle is dilated, it cannot be aqueductal stenosis. But if fourth ventricle is not seen means not dilated, then it is fourth aqueductal stenosis. Then, moving one step ahead, fourth ventricle, for the sake of argument, we got dilated. Then, this cisterna magna will not be seen, obliterated. Where is the obstruction? Should I repeat the statement, yes or no? Dr.
Yes,
Ujjwala?
Yes, sir.
Should I repeat or you got the point?
Sir, please repeat.
Both lateral ventricles dilated, third ventricle dilated, fourth ventricle dilated, and cisterna magna not seen or obliterated, not appreciated. Where is the obstruction? Others, please, in the chat box. Very good, Dr. Saravan. It is
Foramen of Flushka.
Now see, what is Cherry-Second malformation? What is Cherry-Second malformation? Cherry-Second malformation is the defect at the level of the spine, and there the brain is reflecting the defect. It means that is high possible that we are dealing with the Cherry-Second malformation, which we will discuss some other day on patient, and we are taking these things in detail in the courses. So the point here is that the fourth ventricle is not dilated. The cisterna magna is normally seen. So this is the diagnosis. What is the diagnosis now? What is the diagnosis, Dr. Ujwala, Dr. Padma, Dr. Swati, and others? What is that? Now see the case over here. Both lateral ventricles dilated. Third ventricle is popping over here. Now see the third ventricle over here. This is the third ventricle. This is the third ventricle. This is the third ventricle over here. See the beautiful third ventricle coming over here. The dilated third ventricle. Now, when we will go to the posterior fossa, we will see for the cisterna magna. This is the cerebellum over here, and this is the cisterna magna. This is the, now see, this is the cisterna magna coming over here. Very beautiful cisterna magna. Now see, this is not obliterated. This is the cisterna magna. Now see, and this is the vermis. These things we have to see, because if there will be the defect at the level of the vermis, then we are dealing with the Daldy-Walker's malformation, which we have discussed in the server-based course. Now see the cisterna magna and see the vermis, intact vermis, because that will shift the diagnosis. If we are having a defect at this level of vermis, that will shift the diagnosis to the Daldy-Walker's malformation. So here we have a good cisterna magna over here. So no banana side. What is the banana side? We have discussed that thing. Again, the third ventricle popping over here. So this is the third ventricle popping. Now, yeah, very good. Yeah, now see, beautiful image of the third ventricle. And this is not a Wilson machine. This is the Logic 3 machine, P3. 10 lakh rupees machine, not a high-end machine. So if you know what wire is and how to do the things, you can do it even on a basic ultrasound machine. So now what we have to see, third ventricle, we have seen that fourth ventricle is not dilated. We have seen that the cisterna magna is not obliterated. And if cisterna magna, now see, these are the beautiful lips. This is the upper and this is the lower lip over here. So this is the facial profile. And if the point is that if there will be an obliterated cisterna magna, and if there will be fourth ventricular dilatation, then we have to see for the spine, and especially that spine has to see up to the lumbar region, because the defects are mostly in the lumbosacral region over here. Now see for yourself, I have spoken much. Give me some water. Yeah. So this is the lumbosacral region. Yes, this is the lumbosacral region, which you have to see in case of Cherry-Second malformation. Cherry-Second malformation is having the same picture. The difference is that we are additionally having a fourth ventricle dilated over there, and we are having an obliterated cisterna magna over there. So this was second case. I hope that you have enjoyed the session. So if you are registered with us, you will get the notification of next live session that can be of question and answer, because we are taking the question and answer sessions also. And whenever we will be conducting the live sessions of the patients. Now see, these are not stills, these are not pictures, these are live patient scanning over here. So enough for the day. So now see the femur. I told you that the head is over here. You will search the femur on the opposite side. So this is the femur over here. So this is the femur over here. So God bless all of you. In case you are having any confusion, in case you are having any question, you can post your question in the comment box. So I'll be waiting for 2 more minutes to see if you are having any question. So see, the question is coming over here, how to see the gallbladder. Now see, we cannot take a whole ultrasound course over here. We are having a dedicated website where from you have to take the course. And here what we are doing, we are taking the question and answers, and we are taking the live sessions for our registered candidates. Probably that person is not registered with us. So what I will suggest you to go to the website, or you can directly contact us. We will register you, and in case you are having any wait, let me go to the website. So maybe that person is not aware of the website. Just give me a moment. So this is the website where you have to go, www.bilmed.net. I'm repeating, bilmed.net. So what you have to do, you have to just go to the website. This is not actually a website, this is the server over here. And in over here, we are having these courses: physics and machine settings course, gynecological ultrasound, abdominal ultrasound course, early pregnancy course, fetal ultrasound course. Now see, whatever we are discussing, this is the patient of one patient of this detailed fetal ultrasound. And over here, we are having this 90 days course. How we are taking these courses? These are the server-based courses. Anybody can take from any part of the globe. And for the technicalities, you can contact our website, these helpline numbers. And this is the helpline number over here. 9311772531. That is 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. And this is the WhatsApp helpline, which is 4 times 9, 34, 72, 42. Durgesh, what is your phone number? 35. So there is Mr. Durgesh, who is the in charge of admissions. I am repeating the number: 93117725, then not 31, but 35 directly. So I will type it for you. So meanwhile, if you have any question regarding today's session, so you are most welcome to put your question over here. Probably this is the number over here, right? So this is the number, no? Durgesh, this is your number. So this is the number: 9311772535. So let me go to the chat box and see whether there is any course. Question for me. Thank you. So I'm getting a lot of appreciations. Can you explain the cherry-second malformation? So we have just discussed about the cherry-second malformation. The point in cherry-second malformation is that in cherry-second malformation, now see, when you are going to the books, these cherry-second malformation, this is a very complex thing written in the books. I don't know why you'll get confused over there. Actually, what the cherry-second malformation is that if there is a defect in spine, open defect in spine, that is making a suction effect over there. I'm having 4 classes on this cherry-second malformation in our courses, 4 classes of 20 to 25 minutes each. So this will be just an answer, not a complete topic over there. I cannot take complete topic. So now there is a defect at the level of in the spine, and in spine I am having a suction created by this defect over there. What it ultimately tells on, it tells upon the fetal head. Because of the vacuum created, because of the suction effect, the third ventricle, second 2 lateral ventricles will be dilated, but additionally 4th ventricle will be also dilated, and due to the suction effect coming from the defect, I will be having an obliterated cisterna magna. Now we just now saw that the cisterna magna is not obliterated, cisterna magna is normal, so that is ruling out the cherry-second malformation. But in case I will see 4th ventricle dilated along with the cisterna magna obliteration, I have to go to spine, and if I get a defect over there, that is cherry-second malformation. So in one line, what is cherry-second malformation? Defect in the spine reflected by the brain. Okay, so I hope that you got your answer. Thank you very much. See you soon. And if you are registered with the Swarani course, you will get a notification of our next question and answer session or the live patients demonstration. See you next time. Thank you very much. God bless all of you.